Hey, 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 it's that time of year again, and I can already feel the Tay fever setting in. You know what I always say, I've got a fever, and the only cure is more Tay. It's nothing to worry about though, because we've got all the Tay that you'll ever need in this sketch titled The Tay Swift Experience. Specifically, we'll be enjoying the performance of one of the most renowned artists of a generation, and covering the genodermatosis Tay Syndrome, aka PIBIDS, also known as trichothiodystrophy. Notably, Tay syndrome is included in the family of disorders known as premature aging syndromes, and thus it shares several overlapping features. Let's get started with our central hook, Tay Swift herself. Aside from her obvious look as Tay, notice that we've also added the words Taylor Swift Experience, double bonus. Yeah, that's right, double bonus, because there's two Tays. Well, also because Tay syndrome is due to autosomal recessive mutations in the protein products XP, D, and B, hence why the XP in experience is also emphasized. Unfortunately, test writers are cruel and unusual, so you have to know that these proteins are encoded by the genes ERC2 and 3 respectively, which are in the family of genes mutated in Cockayne syndrome, another premature aging syndrome. Speaking of premature aging, check this dude out. Skin age, 90, but so young at heart. Note that we've depicted him as elderly to remind you that despite the fact that it's not commonly tested in this regard, Tay syndrome is a premature aging syndrome. Oh, never mind. This guy has just hopped up on all the supplements he has from tonight's sponsor, the Enhanced Recovery Clinic. This ad for the Enhanced Recovery Clinic is to remind you that the ERC genes are responsible for the majority of cases on Tay syndrome. And let's give our youthful elderly man a recurring number 2 swan on his shirt to remind you of ERC2, and we'll draw some 3 hearts on the ad for ERC3. Alright, but that's enough of that. Let's get back to the superstar who is really making use of that stage. And boy, what a stage it is. Check out that classy backdrop of the Sistine Chapel. This Sistine Chapel painting should remind you that the core defect of all forms of Tay syndrome is due to a decreased content of cystine-rich proteins, which manifests with a wide array of findings. But for the purposes of dermatology, you should know the key features of ichthyosis and brittle hair. To help you out, recall that Tay Swift is singing her new hit song, Fishy Men, hence the fish painted on the stage, and her new hip fish tattoos. Unfortunately, despite her great performance, her hair has paid the price. It's looking a bit frizzy or brittle, isn't it? Alright, everyone's a critic, I know. It is hard to show brittle hair. If you have a better idea, just let me know in the comments below. But anyways, it's probably more important that you're able to recognize the classic feature seen on polarizing light microscopy of tiger's tail banding. Luckily for us, Tay is rocking a tiger outfit for this performance. Meow. Now, before we get to the next hook, I should probably take a minute to explain that there are technically 2 variants of trichothiodystrophy, a photosensitive form and a non-photosensitive form. The non-photosensitive form is due to mutations in the C70RF11 gene, but good luck coming up with a hook for that one. So we've just chosen to remind you of the 2 different forms by giving Tay her very own photosensitive umbrella and depicting a backdrop dancer off stage dressed just like her, but not nearly as stylish because she doesn't have the umbrella. Ella, Yeah, she covered that in 2008. Not that I know or anything, because that wouldn't be manly. And if I'm one thing, it's manly. Anyways, you should know that unlike Cockayne syndrome, the photosensitivity in trichothiodystrophy does not result in an increase in malignancies. Other classic features of Tay syndrome are commonly recalled with the mnemonic PIBIDS, which I personally find a little bit useless, but we've chosen to show it here on the other side of the stage just in case any of you guys like it. PIBIDS of course stands for photosensitivity, ichthyosis, brittle hair, intellectual impairment, decreased fertility, and short stature. Now, if you would rather learn it visually instead of memorizing alphabet soup, we drew a stage director standing by the curtain. Notice how he is very short, and standing next to a slow sign in order to remind you of short stature and intellectual impairment. And to remind you of decreased fertility, remember this no children sign. Yeah, that's right, kids. You may have a monopoly on tricks, but Tay Swift is ours, alright? We earned this. Lastly, and not included in the garbled mnemonic, is the fact that these patients also typically have minor immunodeficiencies due to hypogammaglobulinemia, and they may also have palmar plantar keratoderma, keratosis pilaris, and cataracts, which are shown by the recurring wash your hands sign on the right, the bits of PPK debris scattered over the ground, the KP pillars on either side of the painting, and these cloudy recurring red ocular glasses on our stage manager. Alright, now let's shake it off and review the hooks. This sketch depicts the Tay Swift experience and covers Tay syndrome with the central hook of Taylor Swift. Of note, Tay syndrome is also known as trichothiodystrophy and Pybid's syndrome. This genodermatosis can be due to a few genes, but most important are ERC2 and 3, which encode for the proteins XPD and B respectively. This is shown by the Enhanced Recover Clinic ad and the 2 swan and 3 heart on the right and the double bonus on the front of the stage. Recall that we've depicted our fan as an old man because premature aging is a feature of this condition. Remember that the Sistine Chapel backdrop is to remind you that the underlying cause in all forms of Tay syndrome is due to a decrease in cystine-rich proteins. The most notable features are ichthyosis and brittle hair, so recall the fish on the stage and Tay's tattoos and her frizzy, brittle hair. More importantly, you should know that on polarized microscopy of a hair, you'll see tiger's tail banding, which is shown by the tiger outfit that Tay is wearing. Recall that there is a photosensitive form shown by the umbrella Tay is holding and a non-photosensitive form shown by her backup dancer who doesn't have an umbrella. Now, if you like random letters that sound like a word, we've included Pybids on the left side of the stage, but I prefer to remember photosensitivity, ichthyosis, brittle hair, intellectual impairment, decreased fertility, and short stature by remembering the umbrella, fish, frizzy hair, slow sign, no children sign, and the short stage manager. Other features that might show up but are less classic include PPK, KP, cataracts, and immunodeficiency due to hypogammaglobulinemia. So, try to remember the PPK debris scattered on the ground, KP pillars in the back, cloudy ocular sunglasses on the stage manager, and the wash your hands sign on the right. Whew. Well, I hope the end of this video doesn't make you shed any teardrops on your guitar, but if it does, send us your requests for new content so that we can cheer you up. Alright, we'll catch you next time.